I've been trying to figure out how I'm gonna talk about the last couple weeks. I'll be honest, most of you guys watching this video are probably already, you know, close friends and family. So Raquel and I made it on our trip to Yellowstone, and we made it to Old Faithful on the first day that we were there, and then on the second day we were there, we went up to Mammoth Hot Springs, where they got the really cool staircase of mineral deposits. And this was, I think, day 4 of our trip, and honestly up to that point, like, things were just not going well. First off, the mileage on the motorhome, I'm lucky if I'm getting 7 miles a gallon right now, which is terrible. I was the only one who knew how to turn the generator on or turn the pump on so that we could flush the toilet. We had great ideas, but you know how great ideas are. They never really work out the way that you plan them to. The morning routine of trying to get everybody up and, you know, feed them breakfast and let them get some energy out before we pack up the motorhome and leave, like, you know, that's another stress level. Raquel has this like fantastic plan of like homeschooling in every state that we're going to. She's got coloring pages and information about each state and the history of it and how it got its shape and what its key features are and what national parks are there, and just this awesome binder just all filled out about every state on our trip. Well, nobody wants to work on it while we're driving, and Raquel's always kind of gotten a little bit motion sickness in vehicles. Finally got to an RV park just outside of Yellowstone, and we're trying to set everything up for the first time, and the kids are rambunctious. Try to cook dinner, trying to get the kids bathed. What was our night routine? Everything just one thing after another. Like by day 3, we're already thinking like, this is going to be a lot harder than we thought. So then we go into Yosemite Park, and the plan was to spend the night in the park, but every campsite was full. We had to backtrack and come back out and spend the night at that same campground on the west side of Yellowstone. Then the next morning we wake up, we kind of skip the organized part of the homeschool just so that we can get on the road and get into the park. First stop there was Mammoth Hot Springs, and then we got a phone call from Raquel's dad, and he talked to me, and Tony told us that Raquel's brother Harrison had taken his life. So we walked back to the motorhome, and all I wanted to do at this point was turn on the generator and put on a cartoon for the kids, but the generator wasn't starting, and I just getting so mad that finally I just say, forget it, let's go. I remember when we got back into Boise, getting the feeling like, this is why everything slowed you down. This is why nothing was running smoothly. This is why, you know, the motorhome wouldn't work, and the kids were being, you know, little brats, and, you know, why you were getting so frustrated. And everything that slowed you down was to slow you down for a purpose. And that purpose was so that you wouldn't be too far away from home when you needed to come back. If we'd have gotten back to Boise an hour later than we did, we would have missed on some very key things that have helped us with this healing process. And so there's no question that, yeah, this is a tragedy, and, you know, our hearts are breaking because of it, but at the same time, we've been incredibly blessed and helped out, and God knew that this was going to happen, and He sent every tender mercy to help us through it. The funeral was everything that we could have hoped for. It helped our hearts to heal, or at least begin the healing process. I can't say thank you enough to all the people who brought us food and cards and watched our kids, and trust me, that's the big one for me, because I know how hard our kids can be. All the people who just went out of their way to minimize the things that were on our to-do list and allow our stress levels to come down and to deal with just the grieving process as much as that was possible. You know, if I can say thanks from Raquel's family, you know, from the bottom of my heart, Tony and Heidi and Tanner and Raquel and myself appreciate everybody who came and supported us at his funeral, but more importantly, every single person who loved Harrison throughout his life and that were his friends and that he was able to talk to. Each one of us here today will at one time in our lives look upon a loved one who is in need and ask the same question. We're willing to help, Lord, but what if anything is needed? For it is true we can seldom help those closest to us. Either we don't know what part of ourselves to give, or more often than not, the part we have to give is not wanted. And so it is those we live with and should know who elude us. But we can still love them. We can love completely without complete understanding.